Good evening, Sajjan. I want to thank you for your post. I feel you do a really good job encapsulating an important issue and kind of following the guidance provided by the World Health Organization and their recommendations. I found it really interesting that you view the issue in terms of intellectual versus emotional versus social, and that you differentiated between how you would approach it in terms of if it was primarily a cultural issue versus a political issue. Um, I don't know that I necessarily see that big of a difference in terms of approach, cultural, political. I see them as kind of interrelated with different primary concerns for stakeholders. So. Um, Obviously, politicians want to stay in power. They derive their power from the people. So politicians are influenced by the culture they come out of, and are influenced by changes in the culture in terms of wanting to maintain popularity and retain power. So in that sense, I think whatever you do to influence culture would also influence political dynamics. Although I understand those power dynamics within the political sector add another layer in terms of finances, limited resources, how those are allocated in terms of even special interest, corrupt interest, bias, lobbyists, the whole other layer that's on top of just kind of what's out there in the ether in the general culture. So I do agree that they're not the same, but I think that they're closely interrelated, and I don't know that it would necessarily require a night and day approach. Maybe just a different emphasis uh, in this sense. So in terms of intervention, it talks about pilot programs, and it talks about using experts. I think in this sense that your pilot program is definitely, that is your best tool in your toolbox. That's a show me. The best way to remove doubt is to demonstrate on both sides, both in the culture, and it gets people used to the idea. It becomes more of an accepted thing or a normal thing if people see it and they see people benefiting from it. And even on and that's in the cultural side. On the political side, it also gives data that shows, hey, this is something that's beneficial. There's a cost benefit analysis. It benefits, there can be a benefit for the politician to implement the policy. So the pilot program, I think, is a very powerful tool. Also a tool for educating, because when you do the pilot program, you bring people, local mental health professionals, local primary care providers on board, and you get to you teach through doing, which is a powerful teaching tool. Along those lines, I think the international experts also help facilitate teaching. I see it coming into play both before a pilot program to sell that, hey, there's something to this where we should invest in at least exploring it. And also after a pilot program in terms of kind of reinforcing the findings. But I see, maybe that is more of a secondary tool. I really think you're going to get the most movement in terms of overcoming doubt and managing change and resistance by simply demonstrating that there's a benefit, showing them in the context. And a pilot program is a powerful tool to do that. So thank you for your post. Really appreciate kind of your way of framing it and your insights and your thoughts. And I hope you have a good rest of the week.